Good evening, everyone. I'm here to say farewell. I met my goal in recording these videos. This isn't farewell forever, but it is farewell for a while. This month will mark the first year anniversary of when I started recording these videos. And I have been thinking about doing it for, I don't think, too long a time, but I was finally inspired by a Facebook friend who I never met, but we had a mutual friend. And I started chatting with this person for years, and even so, we never met. He is local, but I didn't want to meet. I thought he was, let's say, to be polite, eccentric. And he seemed to have a lot of grammar problems, very difficult to understand. And around December of last year, we finally had a falling out because he seemed to really appreciate my point of view, and he was constantly coming to me with his problems, but they were the same problems over and over again, and it got to be really frustrating hearing the same old tired story, me giving him the same old tired advice, and him just not doing it, not accepting my advice. I assumed he was getting advice from others and kept falling into the same traps and then coming to me and wanting sympathy, and it got to the point where it's like, you know what, you deserve it. Whatever's happening to you, you deserve it. And he got very offended by that and said that I had nearly driven him to suicide. And I don't believe him, but you gotta be careful with these people. You never know who's for real and who's not. So I would not apologize because I just, he was victimizing himself as usual and trying to get sympathy, and he wasn't going to get it. So he started reposting some of the things that we had said privately in chat, and started publishing videos of himself reacting to some of the things that I had said in chat. And he was bashing me for everyone to see. And no one was really responding. No one usually responded to his rants because they had seen what he was doing to me. They had seen him do it to other people. I demanded that he remove all that content and apologize to me for doing it. He wouldn't. So it just became pointless. I was demanding apologies that he wasn't going to give. He was demanding apologies that I wasn't going to give. So I just had to just tell him, look, if you don't stop, I'm just going to have to block you. And that is not something that I like to do. I seldom do that to anybody, but there was just, this was just a person that I never really even met or had much of a rapport with anyway. So that's what I did on Christmas Day. Not the greatest timing, but it had to be done. I mean, this has been going on for a very long time, but I've gone on too long about this person. All I really wanted to say is that, this is a person who finally triggered that desire that I had had for a while to do these recordings, and when he started talking about the Pulse shooting. And that was my first video, and then I recorded another, dozen videos. The final video was kind of a behind-the-scenes video, and I'm doing that again. Just talking about really background information about how all this has come about. And my goal, after having taken a break, when I started doing this again in the fall, was to do twice as many videos, and I've accomplished that goal. I needed to do 24. I actually have done 25. and did that last week. And so that final video was like the first video about gun control. And I'm going to take a break from this again, and we'll reconvene, and hopefully I'll be in the mood to do this again come next fall. But I'm really talked out. I've been trying to do this regularly on a weekly basis, and sometimes I really don't have anything to say. And there's a lot involved. Just trying to get the camera set up just right, trying to get the lighting just right. I don't think it's very good tonight. But again, these night recordings are not very productive when it comes to that. So trying to get all that down pat is not easy to do. And then I have to sit down, and I'm always searching for music to accompany my end credits. And I always try to find music that's, public domain, Creative Commons music. That isn't easy to do. And I always choose songs that I like. I am a big fan of music. Been wanting to talk to you about that in depth. Haven't done it yet. So maybe that's something that I can do next time. But, been doing, finished these recordings talking about gun control again, and it doesn't look like that's something that's ever going to be solved. Okay, I was just thinking to myself today, if it ever happened where we did have a total ban on guns, not just machine guns and the AR-15 and all that, if we had all guns banned, which I really believe is the goal of some people, then what would be the next target? I was thinking maybe we should start banning matches and lighters, because they are responsible for the fires, not the arsonists. It's the lighters and the matches. And maybe we should, start banning vehicles, because it's the vehicles and not the drivers that are responsible for being driven into crowds of people and maiming and killing them. But anyway, it's just, it's a subject that I'm afraid we're going to probably end up revisiting when we get back together. If I decide to do that, I'm not certain. But I wanted to keep this short. I didn't really have too much I wanted to say about it. One difference between this video and the one that I did recapping the first dozen videos is that I now know the kind of reaction that my videos are having now that I have been publishing them. There's still several that have not been published, but there is now over 30 that have been published, and there's been less than 100 views. So in a way that's disappointing, but in a way I'm kind of relieved, because I'm still, as much as I want to share my point of view with you, I want to be face to face. I want you to hear me say what I say. I want you to react to what I say. And when I do these videos and I just put them online, I don't have the benefit of seeing exactly who my audience is. So being that there hasn't been much of an interest, I may not want to do this anymore, but we'll see how we feel. I mean, I think after a few months break, I will be refreshed and ready and have a lot to say. It's just hard to say things on a regular basis, like, okay, it's that day of the week when I do a recording, let me sit down and just start talking, Sometimes I have things to say, sometimes I don't. So it's probably better to do these videos spontaneously when I have something to talk about. Rather than just do it because it's just that time of the week to do it again. That's it. I appreciate the few of you that are listening. I may decide to grow my audience by letting people that I know personally, often online, know how to find these videos, because right now my audience is people that just stumble across my channel. So that might be something I want to do, and if that may be an incentive to continue. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for listening to this thoroughly dull video. I appreciate it so much, and you have a good night.